Hi guys, today I'm going to talk about the 10 essential items you need when going out on a day hike. So stick around. Hi guys, thanks for sticking around. If this is your first time joining me, welcome to Aeetos Outdoors. This channel is all about my journey into the outdoors, whether it's hiking, camping, backpacking, fishing, foraging, anything like that. These are my adventures, so I hope that you enjoy them. If you do, please consider subscribing. Click the button down here to subscribe. Click the bell icon, that will turn notifications on so you'll be notified every time I post a new video. Right now I'm posting once a week on a Wednesday. Okay, with that out of the way, let's get into the meat of this video, or the plant-based alternatives if you swing that way. So this video is all about the 10 essentials, 10 essentials that you should have with you when you go on a day hike. This list is based off the 5 C's, which was then extended to 10 C's, which is a kind of bushcrafty way of remembering things that you should have with you. Now, this isn't quite bushcrafty, and from the research that I've done just now, this list, so the 10 essentials list or variants of it, were created in the 30s by a Seattle-based company for sort of climbers and outdoors people, to make sure they had everything they need to be able to survive outdoors, I guess, maybe in a worst case scenario kind of thing. And those worst case scenarios can depend on, or they can be very varied. They can be very different. So hopefully these items that I'm about to show you will shed some light and may keep you safe when you're out there. Okay, so diving right in, the first essential item to have with you when you're on a day hike is some form of navigation. This could be, and for most of us probably will be, a cell phone. And I can't show you my cell phone because I'm filming on it right now. Whether you have signal or not depends on where you are, but having some form of offline map, there are loads out there. There's Gaia GPS, there are things like AllTrails that can track where you are, things like Garmin's, InReach, Spot. There are a couple of devices that are GPS, so they can track where you are. You could be doing a day hike in a busy area that has coverage, so you just need your cell phone and Google Maps or AllTrails or something like that. You could be further afield, and yeah, maybe your cell phone doesn't work. So if your cell phone doesn't work, then things like a compass and a map may be necessary. These, I would say, were probably more if you're kind of further afield, a bit more out in the wilderness. Like I said, there are some great apps out there that you can use to navigate. So I'll link them down below because I'm kind of drawing a blank right now. But taking it old school, a compass and a map, and obviously knowing how to read a map and use a compass is kind of essential. You may be able to check your local area for beginners backpacking or map reading, things like this. There are also some great tutorials on YouTube, so that could help. So that is the first essential item for a day hike. That would be navigation. So cell phone, compass, GPS device, something like that. Okay, so the second essential item for day hikes is probably my favorite because it makes me feel super cool. A knife of some description. So having some kind of knife, more to use as a tool, really. So we're not planning on using this as a self-defense device unless you're maybe hiking in a bad neighborhood or something. But a knife is a very versatile tool that you can use to make other things. So let's say maybe you sprain your ankle and you need a walking stick. Maybe you can use a knife to cut down a branch or something like that. spoilers for the rest of the video, but maybe you have something that you need to cut up so it can be used as a signaling device, then a knife can come in handy. So a knife or a multi-tool. Obviously a multi-tool itself is going to be more versatile, but something that you can, some kind of tool that you can use. And knives and multi-tools are relatively lightweight, so you don't need to burden yourself. You don't need to weigh yourself down with these. So second essential item is a knife. I'm just going to let you know that this list is in no particular order. This is just the way that I compiled the list, really. So the third item would be some kind of fire starting device. So you could go with Old Faithful, a lighter, or maybe you want to carry something like the world's smallest ferro rod, something like this to strike to get a spark, to be able to start a fire. These tend to work really well whatever the weather, and they will never run out of gas, whereas your lighter may run out of gas. So some kind of fire starting device. And then you can use that fire that you create as a signal fire to signal people if you do get into distress. Fire also raises morale. If you're in some kind of emergency situation and people are panicking and things like this, making a little fire to be a focal point, it can be really helpful. So fire is a fire starting device is my third essential item. Okay, next up is protection from the elements, and this is two parts. So the first protection from the elements is looking at heat or the sun. So a wide-brimmed hat like this to keep the sun out of your eyes, off the back of your neck. Sunglasses can help, and sunglasses can help in snowy conditions as well to stop the snow blindness. Also maybe a buff to keep the sun off you, long sleeve shirt to protect your skin, or sunscreen. So obviously this all depends on where you are hiking. If you're hiking somewhere hot or where it's going to be sunny, then you'll need sun protection. And so that was number 4. Number 5, which is following suit with this, would be protection from the cold. So, protection from the cold / weather. So some kind of rain jacket if you're in, I don't know, temperate rainforest in the Pacific Northwest. Or it could be a puffy jacket in case the temperatures drop a bit cold, a toque to keep your head warm, a buff again to keep your neck warm or to pull up to protect your face from the cold, gloves, things like that, waterproof pants if you're hiking and it's raining, rain is expected. So numbers 4 and 5 are protection from the elements, but they're split into sort of hot weather and cold weather, but they're taking up 2. You never know when the weather's going to change, so being prepared for both is never a bad idea. And realistically, a down puffy jacket doesn't weigh much at all. A rain shell doesn't weigh much. So having these, it's certainly better to have them and not need them than not have them at all. And that's my mentality with a lot of these. Okay, so the 6th item on my list of 10 essential items is food. So something as simple as some Nature Valley bars, trail mix, chips, Snickers. I love Snickers. Food is a great idea to take with you. You may get a little tired halfway through your hike and just need a little bit of energy. It may be a little bit of a harder hike than you thought, so having some energy just to keep you going. It's a great idea. It's also, good for morale, and it can be nice to take a little break, just stop, maybe find a nice viewpoint or wherever you are, just stop, take in the view, have a little snack, have a little rest, refresh, regain some energy, and then carry on. Food is pretty self-explanatory. It gives you energy, and if you're hiking, energy is good. So the 6th item is food. And can you guess what the 7th item is, maybe? So if we've got food, we want something to wash that lovely food down with. So taking water bottles with you to bring water with you is always a great idea. I am someone that gets super thirsty when I'm hiking and exercising, so I tend to go heavy. I'll take, a couple of liters of water with me for kind of a basic hike. And if it's going to be a big hike, then I will bring something like this. This is a Sawyer Squeeze water filter. So I would have a a bag that goes on this that I fill with dirty water, put onto here, squeeze the bag through, and clean water comes out. So taking water with you, of course, is a great idea, but having a method to purify your own water, so something like this, or even Aquatab, something like that, is a great idea too. So that was the 7th of my 10 essential tips. So the 8th item on my 10 essential tips list is illumination. And something as simple as a headlamp is gonna work. A little flashlight, something like that, whatever it is, make sure the batteries in it are fresh and make sure it's not gonna run out if you do need it. But let's say the hike runs a little bit longer, the sun sets, a storm comes in or something, or it gets super cloudy and blocks out the sun, whatever. You know, having a source of light is great. You're going to be able to see where you're going. You're going to be a little bit safer when you are navigating back to wherever, you know, back to the trailhead or the car or whatever, or base camp. One thing to add here is, you know, you may hear a few of these and think, oh, my cell phone can do that. Oh, my cell phone can do that. If you are using your cell phone for a lot of other things, if you're using it for navigation and you're using it for the light, the battery is going to drain super, super fast. So I would always suggest having separate items for these. This headlamp doesn't weigh a great deal. This is the Black Diamond Spot 325, I think. It doesn't weigh a lot. So, you know, all of this gear that I mentioned is gonna, obviously it's gonna weigh something, but it's not a huge amount. It's something pretty light. Realistically, the heaviest part of all of this kit is most likely gonna be your water, because water is super heavy. So yeah, think about that. But I would always much rather have this kind of stuff with me and not need it, as I said, than not have it with me and need it. So that was number 8. Number 9 is, again, it's worst case scenario really, but number 9 is a first aid kit. Now, this is my first aid kit. It was a travel first aid kit that I adapted to my particular needs, and I haven't used it very much, but I do keep adding things to it, so it's getting bigger and bigger and bigger. This I normally keep in my car, so I have it close to hand all of the time. However, if I'm going out hiking or camping, I'll pull it out of the car and stick it into my bag. This has absolutely everything in that I may need. It has afterbite, it has band-aids, plasters, it has gauze, it has bandages, it has a triangular bandage, it has medical shears, it has allergy medication, bug repellent stuff, or bug afterbite. It has Tylenol, aspirin. It has some water purification tabs in here as a backup. It has wound cleaning. It has a lot. If you're just doing a little hike, maybe a little ouchie boo-boo kit. So maybe just some plasters, some moleskin for blisters, things like that. Whatever you're comfortable with, bring that. I tend to have a bit of a bigger kit because I have done a wilderness first aid course, so I'm a bit more confident in my skills, and I would feel confident dealing with most issues, at least in a kind of stabilized situation until real help can get there. So my kit may be a little bit bigger than yours. If you're just doing a short hike, then maybe just some band-aids and moleskin, as I said, could work for you. So that was number 9, a first aid kit. And number 10, the last item, but by no means least. So the last item on my 10 essential items for a day hike is an emergency shelter. So let's say absolutely worst case scenario, you get lost, you get stuck out, you can't get rescued, you're going to be out overnight, or suddenly maybe it just starts bucketing it down, you didn't think it was going to rain, you didn't bring your jacket, but you did bring an emergency shelter, then you can use one of these to protect you from the elements. So this is a SOL survival blanket. I have had this and I've had this a while and I've never had to use it. This is a survival blanket. It's like one of those foil blankets that you see after races that they give the runners. So normally one side is reflective to keep the heat in, and the other side is normally high vis. So this is orange on one side and super high vis on the other. It says here it's windproof, waterproof, and it does actually have survival instructions on it. So if you're in a pinch and you get stuck, you can bust this out and maybe it can help you. This is not particularly big. It's kind of the size of my hand. You can get much smaller little emergency blankets, or you can get much bigger. I think this is actually an emergency tent. It's a triangular shaped tent. I have no idea what shape that was. I was like Zorro. But this is a triangular shaped tent, so you just need a ridge line, set it up between two trees and you have some shelter. Again, it's reflective, so it's going to keep you warm on the inside, high vis orange on the outside. So, emergency shelter. Now, my 11th and bonus tip, my bonus tip for the 10 essential items you need for a day hike. I have mentioned all of these items. If I had them in my hands, it's going to be pretty difficult to carry everything. So can you guess what the 11th item is? The 11th item is some kind of bag to carry everything in. This is a stowaway 20-litre backpack I got from Eddie Bauer. It turns in on itself, it packs down really small. I actually use it to carry all my camera gear right now. But something like this, just to put all of your stuff in. It has water bottle pouches at the side. You can get much smaller ones than these. Maybe even something like this. This is a little emergency kit I got off Amazon that I actually repurposed for myself, as it's handy and holds most of the things in it. So something like this that you can just kind of stick in a cargo pocket or attach to your belt or something, just to have it. Again, all of these items are good to have. Hopefully you will never need them, but they're better to have than have and not need than not have at all. So that is my 10 essential items for a day hike. So just a quick recap. We had, number one was some form of navigation. So compass and map, cell phone, all trails, GPS, something like that. Number two was a knife or a multi-tool. Number three was a Firestarter, a lighter, a ferro rod, something like that. Number four was protection from the sun. So long sleeve shirt, sunscreen, wide brimmed hat. Number five was protection from the cold. So toque, rain jacket, rain pants, a puffy jacket, a down puffy jacket, things like that. Number six, food. Duh, I love my food. Number seven, water. If you've got food, you need water. Also, stay hydrated. Super, super important. Drink a lot. Drink, drink, drink. Lots of water. Drink a lot of water. Number eight, light. Number nine is first aid kit. And number 10 is an emergency blanket, emergency shelter. And my 11th bonus tip, of course, to carry all of this is some kind of bag. Okay, well, that's it for the video this week. I hope you have enjoyed it. Sorry, it's gone a bit long. I hope you've enjoyed this. Let me know what, if you have different essentials to what I have. Do you bring different stuff? Is there anything that you think is overkill? Is there anything that you think I should have rather than not? Please comment down below. Let me know what you think. Once again, thanks for joining me, everyone. If you have enjoyed this content, please give the video a thumbs up. And if you really, really enjoyed it, please subscribe. Click the button down here. Okay, well, that's it for this week, guys. Thanks for joining me. You have a good day, and I'll see you soon. Take care. Bye-bye.